Tonight, we discuss how you just can't get away from the intrusiveness of Christianity. You can all go ahead and pull out your smartphones because it's time to beat Dan at Bible Trivia, and Dan introduces Zod to the wild world of Christian memes. What'll these kids think of next, right? Well, they could think of the coolest place to hang out on Thursday night, which is Zodanza.
Hello. Welcome to another episode of Zodanza. I'm the Dan in the Zodanza. This is the Zod in the Zodanza. And we're back, baby. A dinosaur story. Here to talk about a lot of Christianity today, mostly Christian stuff. If you haven't noticed the theme already. Zod, what's on today's menu?
Well, as you might have heard in the opening, today we are I'm going to gripe a little bit about Christianity and it being intrusive on society, which some of you here may know it can be from time to time.
Oh, can it?
Yeah. That's my experience anyway.
That's just you, dude. I don't think anybody can relate, honestly.
Yeah. It's mostly just me. We have some nice enthusiasm here from Lester Moose. Moose are from Alaska, so maybe this is an Alaskan person. But also, as you heard, I hope this is the first time you're finding out, you are going to do Bible trivia against our audience.
It is against the audience. Oh shit. Okay.
Yes,
I didn't realize
this
I had
is
competition.
live.
Oh no. Oh shit. Okay. All right.
So I'm looking for ways not only to shame you, but to get the audience more involved. I want to find ways for them to just really be able to dig in and, play along with us. So
y'all got to figure out if I was a real Christian or not. Is what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. So, if you don't know the answers of the questions, you were probably a Christian. Subtle shaded.
Yeah, that I see what you did there, Zod. I see what you did there.
So if you're watching, have an extra browser or a phone handy. You've probably heard of Kahoot. It's something they did more back in the day. I haven't heard of this before, but I thought it'd be a good way to do a trivia if we wanted to. There's the address. Go to Kahoot, spelled like that, .it, not to Kahoot.com. And when the time comes, you can enter a code and join the game. First 24 people, because we have to include Dan, can play along.
Yes.
That's the package we have for Kahoot. Oh. And then, from what I understand, you have some great spicy memes for me. Is that correct?
I got spicy memes. I got crunchy memes. I've got memes of every zest and flavor. So I scoured the net for the most terrible Christian memes, and I found so many of them I genuinely couldn't put them all on the PowerPoint. So I just picked the ones that I thought we could give the best reviews for. The best, give us the most visceral response to. So we got plenty of memes for us to peruse today, so cleanse your palate, cleanse your meme palate, because you're about to experience Christian meme culture. It's fantastic. And I see that Zod is back with us. Zod, how's it going?
Oh, it's great. Were you able to see me at all?
Nope. I didn't hear you, and you were completely still, but we're back on track.
That's fantastic.
Let's keep going.
All right. Yeah. I saw spinning wheels on our two windows. But yeah, I try to keep up on the memes. I bring one up to my kids and they tell me that's like 2 months ago's memes. So I've given up on that due to age. But yeah. But let's get the show going. Before we do, ask me how my day's been.
Prophet of Zod, how has your day been today?
Well, that's interesting that you ask. It was actually yesterday. I found out through one of my friends, they pointed me to a podcast. Turns out a Mr. J. Warner Wallace discovered that I had dug up some information about his career.
I love this. So
he got a little bit whiny about it, and about these YouTubers who go digging into the details of his career and personal testimony and professional backstory and stuff. And then he started making excuses about how um, he worked some cold cases before he was officially a cold case detective. Not
Mhm.
all the career, not all police departments have actual cold case units. So sometimes you just go work an old case on the side, blah, 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 blah,
Yep, yep.
which might be true. Not really how he represents his story. I don't think he makes it sound like he was full on a cold case detective when he did his whole investigating Jesus thing. Um,
I mean,
and
I
here's
look at cold cases on the internet sometimes, so I guess, like, by that same metric, I might as well be a cold case detective because, like, yeah, I don't have that title either, but apparently J. Warner Wallace can write a whole book about it. So,
I brush my teeth, so I'm probably a dentist.
yeah,
Uh, Never mind. You know, his department didn't even open cold cases until the year 2000, 4 years after he was a Christian. On his what's that page where you post your career stuff?
LinkedIn.
On his LinkedIn, yes.
Mm,
He has himself officially a cold case detective in 2007, working his first case in 2003. So even given his excuse, it doesn't really add up. However, I might address this at some point on my main channel. I'm not sure. But, if I were just to set aside blame, what I would say to him is if this is what you meant, it's not really what's coming through in the way you tell your story. So don't think of this as you've been shamed, you've been caught, your career's over. Think of it as an opportunity to express where you actually were career wise in this phase, what kind of actual cold case experience you were using, and just an opportunity to be more forthcoming and communicate more clearly. Don't think he's going to take me on that. I think he just wants to do a little damage control and forget this, but whatever.
probably not, but I love this. Zod, I told you this. I told you when you were telling me you were doing the deep dive on J. Warner Wallace. I said, I hope he gets petty about it with you. I told you this. I said, I hope he says something in response. And I'm so glad that he did, because you bet he's Googling his name every day. I think he's one of those guys. And you know what? He probably found your video that way, or maybe somebody sent it to him. I don't know, but
Yeah.
it's hilarious. That's awesome.
Or he might have found it through Vice Rhino, mentioned those facts and brought up my video. But however, he found it somehow, and yeah, he decides it's worth saying something about it. Um, YouTube punks mentioned they still have an outstanding Freedom of Information Act request with torrents to get more information. That's something I would be interested in seeing. I don't know if you're the person who emailed me about this. I did get emailed from somebody saying they were going to put in that request. And again, we're not going to end his career. We're not going to just make him run off shamefacedly off the stage, but just maybe a little bit more transparency about what the actual situation is wouldn't be a terrible thing. That's my personal opinion.
Honesty. We just want honesty. We just want the truth, you know? Like, you should be telling lies as a Christian. That's all. That's all.
Yeah. Speaking of, here's a good segue for you.
Yeah.
Another thing you should not be doing as a Christian is being intrusive upon society.
Oh?
Yeah.
Oh? Okay. I'm listening.
So I got a little rant about that. And all of you in the chat, if you have a story or a little comment about Christianity just getting a little too pushy, throwing themselves out there, you feel like you're just surrounded and you can't escape from it, feel free to share your stories. We might pop it up on the screen. But I have one of my
I might
own.
disagree with you,
Dan,
Zod. I feel like Christianity is designed to be intrusive upon society. I don't know. Maybe I feel like that's kind of the point in a way.
yeah, go out, go ye into the world and preach the gospel on your warships and
Yeah.
your colonizing expeditions. And
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So, my little story here starts at the Alaska State Fair. My family and I go to attend 11 o'clock on at 10 to 11 on a Sunday morning. We're standing in line at the fair because we're giant sinners and we're not at church, that kind of thing. And, what do you hear when you're standing in this long line but worship music, singing worship songs to Jesus. This local church decided on this stage to have a big worship session where everybody can hear them. Not the worst thing in the world. I find it personally a little obnoxious, but it's it's a little bit of a side stage, even though it's right by where you stand in line on a Sunday morning. Not a big deal. But there are layers to this onion. So let's peel a couple back. Somebody from this same church at our we have a statewide music competition in Alaska. One of my kids participates in it, does a great job, actually won the vocal competition.
So
And it was
in
pretty
that,
cool.
do you actually compete with like the local wildlife as well? Because like I imagine there's not enough people in Alaska to actually fill up a whole room,
Just
let
people,
alone a
just people.
competition. It's just people.
No.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, the birds would dominate an interspecies singing competition. It
That's,
just wouldn't be fair.
that was
So
my next thought.
we decided humans only.
Okay. Gotcha.
And bears just get violent, so that never ends up being fun.
Sure.
Anyway, one of the people at this, they decided to sing. They were going to sing as a guest. I think they were a previous winner or something like that. They sing a Christian song, a very overtly Christian song, which feels like a little much, but that's fine. That's your choice of song, right?
Sure.
After the song, at this statewide singing competition, this is not a religious event or anything like that. The person stops and says, "I just want to encourage you all to come to Jesus," basically. And if you're having any trouble, just fall at the feet of Jesus. Bring it there. And here's where it got a little rough around the edges, if it hasn't yet. If you have any mental health issues, if you've been dealing with depression, if you just bring them to Jesus. I'm like, oh, you did not even.
Ooh. That's not good. I don't like that.
Yeah. So you're putting it there in everybody's face in a very overt way. If you want to preach like that, preach like that. If you're at a non-Christian event and you want to sing a song and it happens to be Christian, a bit much, but I can deal with it. But if you're going to sit there and preach to us, and then go so far as to tell people who actually need real professional services potentially, or actually some kind of qualified help just to go to Jesus, there's a fair chance you're doing some demonstrable harm to somebody. And I'm not totally cool with that. Go ahead.
No, yeah. I mean, like it is kind of funny because like if you fully believed that you can be healed through like prayers and stuff, right? Like physical ailments can be done away with. I don't see why mental illnesses wouldn't be able to, right? So like there is like a logic to it that does make sense. The problem is they're fucking wrong. You can't do that. You probably need SSRIs. You don't need fucking prayer, right? Like, I mean, depending on what you are dealing with. But like, yeah, I always hate that because I feel like you can obviously be more susceptible to that kind of thing. I feel like most people, if they're like, oh, my arm is broken, they're not going to like go to their local pastor. Like they're going to go to a doctor. But if they're like mentally struggling, there is a chance that they could go to the spiritual leader in their community for their problems, and they're not going to be qualified to handle that. So yeah, there is some demonstrable harm that's happening there.
Yeah. And never mind, not only is it a less tangible health issue, but Christianity provides a framework for seeing that in a totally different way. And I talked about this in my second to most recent video, where basically it teaches you that everything is an issue of sin or righteousness. So there are no mental health issues. You don't need help. You need to just stop sinning and do the right thing. Not all Christians think it's totally as black and white as that, but it does muddy the issue, and it provides an element of shame to seeking help. And it makes you very susceptible to this idea that you can just come to Jesus to fix it. And that doesn't just include mental health. A lot of Christians get into this cycle of just even repeating garbage personal habits and staying in cycles just because they think they're getting it all fixed by going to Jesus. Anyway, that's a bit of a preaching tangent. Don't want to go there. Final part of my story. I'm going to bring us back to the Alaska State Fair.
Bring it back. Bring it back.
We have a couple kids in our group need to go use the restroom, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're traveling with some people and everything like that. They
Like
say, can we go use the restroom? We're like, fine, go ahead. That's, go take care of your business. Just be right back. They leave. We don't see them for a while. And it gets to like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour. And we get a little bit worried and wonder where they're at. Catch up with them. Turns out, do you want to know where they were?
They were making out with each other.
No, that's weird. And don't talk like that. These are kids.
Never mind. Oh, wait. You mean like kids? I thought you meant like teenagers.
Well,
you're talking.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, no, that's not weird. That happens.
Okay.
I've seen it happen. Anyway.
Anyway, they were walking along where some street preacher types all of a sudden grabbed them as they're walking by and brought them into this tent and started deciding to evangelize to them.
Stop. That's okay.
Yep.
That's weirder than the thing I said. At least the thing I said is more realistic. What the fuck? You're saying some random ass adult was like, "Come here, children, come to my tent."
Yeah, they said, "Do you want to do a survey?" And the survey ended up being 20 minutes of asking them questions about their sins, what sins they've committed, telling them they deserve to die for it, and giving them this whole pitch. And they didn't feel like they could leave. And they heard the people complaining about other people who had just decided they just wanted to go. No. And so they decided to accost a couple of young teenage girls as they're walking through the fair, not with parents or anybody, having this whole religious conversation we didn't necessarily want them to have with them. And never mind the fact that generally when minors are walking an event like that alone, they usually have plans to meet up with their parents. The whole thing was just weird and uncool.
That is so bad. A survey too. That's so gross. I don't like that at all, man.
Yeah. If you're curious, the organization that did this,
you're going to tell on them right now. He is, folks. He's got receipts. He's ready.
I looked these people up. They are the Alaska Christian Mission to Seafarers. Weird thing. I guess they largely deal with people who like.
What does that mean? Does that mean that they take some people coming off boats, sailors, and they're like, "Hey, we're for you." Like it's in the
probably.
Name.
They're largely down on the peninsula and the coast, and there are a lot of fishing communities and stuff like that there.
Well, they were fishing for children too, apparently. What the fuck?
Yeah. So this event is just targeted at the general public. I've walked by there many a time. They didn't give me a look. I don't think they have any use for me. Guy my age either agrees with them or doesn't have time for their shit. And so, but nab a couple teenagers, try to get them better to
do. We're gonna wrangle these kids off the streets and get them into our tent so we can ask them questions about their sins.
Yeah,
that's
what sins they've committed and tell them they deserve to die for them while their parents aren't there. That's just absolutely lovely.
I did that all the time when I was their age. I mean, that's just normal. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
So the whole level of entitled behavior that you see here, and I don't know, the level of intrusiveness, I would never get away with any of that stuff, right? Like,
nobody in a fair and democratic society, Zod, nobody should get away with that stuff. That's just weird. There's no good cause.
Just imagine I'm at a singing competition and I'm a guest singer. I sing my little song, and then I start talking about how you need to maybe think about steering religion and being a skeptical, rational thinker. Do you think society would think that was cool? Or if I grabbed kids and started talking to them about counter apologetics in a tent at the fair, do you think that place wouldn't just be crawling with complaints?
You could get even more extreme. You could be like, I'm here to give out free life-saving medicine to anybody who needs it. And if you're accosting children into a tent to do that, I still think that's weird. I don't care how good it is. Like, even if it's legit, like you could have the medicine I need. I just don't talk to kids
Yeah.
on the street. That's just weird. Or at least don't bring them into your tent. I don't know. That's
And especially if they don't have their parents' permission to receive the Bill Gates tracking microchip.
Yeah,
You just
exactly.
don't do that without asking the parents.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Oh no.
that
Oh,
was my
no.
little thing. Do you have any further questions, comments?
I have a lot of questions. I don't think you have the answers to them though.
Probably not.
Like I imagine this was a couple years ago, right? Like how long ago was this?
A couple weeks ago.
Oh wait, this is weeks ago? This was like recently?
Yeah.
What? Wait, maybe you said that at the beginning. I missed that. How are people getting away with this in the year of our Lord 2023? Is Alaska just like a no man's land of like lawlessness and reprobation? I mean, how are people just out there living their best lives? What's happening out there in Alaska?
Alaska's pretty cool, honestly. Okay. We're a red state, but we're like a 55-45 red state. And we have a pretty good mix of like really super conservative churchy types and like hippie granola types. It's a fairly reason, but there just is this sense of entitlement about witnessing or proselytizing or whatever.
That is really strange. I don't like that. Listen, hide your kids, hide your wife, because the seafaring Christian whatevers are coming out there and they don't even need boats. They're just on land. They're a bunch of land lubbers grabbing whatever pirates and mateys they can get into their tent of secrets and surveys, but not really surveys. That's just, that's odd. That's bizarre. I don't like it. It's odd.
Yeah. Even setting aside the atheist thing, any other religion snagged your kid and brought him in and started asking those kinds of questions to convert them to something without parents present. Extremely uncool.
Again, you could be like giving out free puppies, like for real, and that's weird. Actually, saying that you're giving out puppies is not a good look.
That conjures this kind of imagery. I got some Jesus in my van. Come to me.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. Well, Zod, that's a terrible story.
To seriously answer a question, was it an enclosed tent or were the sides open? You can see into the tent from the street. It's like one of those,
Okay.
One of those tents that they set up along the rows of a fair,
like a flea market tent.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
But it did look weird. You peek into there and you see a lot of old men and maybe a lady or two. I think the women probably talk to girls or whatever. And they're sitting there with their Bibles and their little handouts, and it just feels like a really weird place to. There wasn't any kind of like creeper level danger or anything like that, but it was just weird.
Back in my day, preachers used to go out on the street corners and preach, and now they're doing this whole tent situation, and I don't feel good about it, Zod. That's not a good look.
Yeah.
Well, again, terrible stories, Zod. Awful. Not that it's.
I want to leave you. Sorry, go ahead.
No, not that I want to clarify, because it's not that the story you told is a bad story because of the topic you chose. It just made me feel bad that that's a thing that's happening. I don't like that exists in the world now. I don't trust these seafarers.
It would be ideal if not. But if you have, I emailed the manager of vendors for the state fair. Didn't get a response back.
I say we throw them back to the ocean. Let the ocean take where man was not meant to be upon the sea. I think we need to separate that, and the fact that they represent seafarers is a red flag in general.
Yeah.
So
I want to leave you plenty of time to do your memes though. So let's get to this trivia.
Okay. All right.
This first thing has already gotten a little long. We got a little fired up.
I am fired up. I gotta admit, I'm fired up, but I'm ready to answer questions about the Bible. I've read it from front to back. So
you have me too.
Yeah. Only like, I don't want to say like one time through, because who reads the Bible like one time through? It's like, okay, I've read them all in different times of my life. So we'll see what happens with it. So I got to join this game as well.
Yep. Okay. So open a browser or, and we already have a couple people joining.
Okay.
Go to kahoot.it, enter the pin 376344. And I want to get this started pretty soon. So, we got Dan. He's a horse with weird glasses. He looks like I want to say this right for being on a stream. He looks like a horse who would own a van.
It's BoJack Horseman, but with Groucho Marx glasses. It's kind of what's happening a little bit.
Oh, the game room is filling up.
Oh man, we got a lot of people here.
All right. Dan, I'm afraid you are like good and going down.
Oh shit.
I'm sorry.
Can we get a full room here? I bet we could.
Yeah. We have 12 so far. So
okay.
If you still want to join, we have more than half our spots. 13. Can we get a 14? 14.
14.
While the room is loading up, I want to do something that I meant to do at the start, which is talk about another miracle besides the number of people joining this, which is the number of people who have joined our Patreon.
Yes, let's talk about that.
I am absolutely blown away. I want to make this quick, and I think maybe while we're waiting for people is a good time to do it. Looks like we might be leveling off at 14, but I want to give a little love to the people who joined up and signed up for Patreon. Gonna read some names. You'll see your name at the end of this broadcast as well. We have Miranda, who also sent us an amazing list of information we might be using in later shows.
Yes.
We have Ashley Shivers, Jason, Sacred Cow Diner, Zylix, which is basically 3 Z's, 2 Y's, 2 X's, and 2 Z's. Christina Alvested and Nicholas Demon. So thank you all. I'm really blown away. At this point, Dan and I are paying our StreamYard bill. Yes. And we each have $1.50 at the end of the month. So yes. Absolutely amazing. I'm just thrilled you're here. It's nice to be able to pay our bills. If we get a little bit of something for our time, I'm not going to lie, that's cool too. I'm not going to pretend we need more money than we need, but I'm also not going to tell you that we'd turn it away if we could, make a little something for doing this. But I do appreciate it. I'm mostly just thrilled that you're all here. If you can't donate, don't feel bad. I always feel bad when people express their regrets because they can't give. If you can, wonderful. If not, thank you for being here. But every little dollar helps. So
yes. And on a personal note, this is amazing to have a show that we've had 6 episodes on now, and we already have 6 or 7 people donating on the Patreon. That is incredible. It really is. And we really mean it when we say we would do this even if Patreon wasn't a thing. That's mainly there so that, like we said, so we can cover paying for StreamYard and stuff like that. Which is just incredible to see folks wanting to support this new project that we're both very excited about and have been really putting a lot of energy into. So we should be giving you quality content every week from now on, because now we've got real patrons now, Zod. We've got money on the line.
We have our official one official expense, which I think is the only thing we're really paying for, just StreamYard. That's covered. We do little things out of pocket, like I got a Kahoot membership. Dan got some sound effects, things like that. So it all does help us. And probably the more we have a little bit of wiggle room here, the more little bells and whistles we'll add to the show and make it all fun and stuff. So anyway, I think we're leveled out at 16. Are we all ready for some trivia?
Yeah, we got Dan's Bane in here, which is scary. That's my nemesis.
Sounds extremely frightening. All right, let's go, as my son would say. Kahoot at home. Zod's Bible trivia, aptly named.
Oh man.
Okay. Be ready. Now you get points for answering correctly and quickly. What did Samson use to kill 1,000?
Easy. I had to connect the color to the answer here. So I probably listened first, but
E's rib, a donkey's jawbone, a bull's intestines, or a sword, you idiot.
I like a sword, you idiot. That's a good one. All right, we got some real ones in here. A perfect score across the board. That's amazing.
Yeah. The Bible's so moral that it depicts somebody taking the body part off of somebody and killing other people with it. So, yes. Good job. That was our easy warm-up one. I won't guarantee. I'm not going to say there's no other easy ones here, but part of it is the race for the answer. All right. Objectively, Dan, you are in first place. I'm still on it, baby.
What's up? What's up?
You guys are going to have to hurry up and push your buttons a little faster.
Honestly, it's probably because there's a delay in the stream.
Probably, yeah. Which plague did not kill Egypt's livestock?
Ooh, okay.
The plague of locusts, the plague of livestock, the plague of hail, or the plague on the
I
firstborn?
I imagine that the plague of livestock killed the plague of livestock. But
There's a fair chance of that.
okay, yeah.
All right.
Well, interesting results. Wait, it's the
Yeah,
plague of locusts? What?
a little more mixed on this one. Yeah, the plague of locusts did not kill the plague of livestock, to my knowledge. So this is an interesting question because, as far as I remember, if I'm wrong on this, I apologize, but none of you had money in the line, so that's all cool. The plague of livestock is where God killed all the livestock of the Egyptians, right? He wiped them all out.
Yeah.
After that, he killed some of them again in the plague of hell, and then he killed the firstborn livestock on the plague of the firstborn. So I just thought it was a little bit funny that,
Wait, they killed livestock on the plague of the firstborn? I thought it was just people.
no, he killed the firstborn of their animals too,
Oh, okay. Well,
even though all the animals were dead from the plague of livestock. So
there you
what do
go.
you know?
Well, what man, we're all going to hell, is what that says to me. Oh
Ooh,
shit.
Hollyhock has pulled ahead.
Hollyhock is
All
the
right,
only
you
one
got
that
some
got that one
competition
right.
here, Dan.
Good
All
job,
right, next
Hollyhock.
question. Next question. Why did God promise never to flood the earth again? You're all gonna get this one.
Hollyhock said that was an accident, by the way, which is hilarious.
He didn't want everybody to die again. He was going to establish the law through Moses instead. Noah made a covenant to train his sons in righteousness, and he liked the smell of burning animals. And you know what? I apologize, guys. I'm going to take over our overlay so you can see the answers a little bit better. The answer was he liked the smell of burning animals.
Okay, I thought it was that one. But I second guessed myself and picked blue. But that was legitimately what I thought. Because last time I remember reading it, the narrative is kind of like, he just does some sacrifices, and then God's like, "All right, I'm never doing this again." Like that's kind of how it goes, right?
Yeah. If I'm reading the Bible correctly, the whole story of Genesis, or the whole story of the flood, is extremely fuzzy to begin with. Like, good luck determining how long they were on the ark based on the way the verse goes.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure it says that he smelled the smell and thought it was delightful and decided never to flood the earth again.
Yeah.
So
you did check
right.
these, right? You did do some fact checking. You aren't just going off of memory.
Yes, I was doing all these directly out of the Bible.
All right. Okay. All right.
Or if I wasn't sure, I brought up Bible Gateway and checked the verses. Dan, you are in a good solid fourth place. Hollyhock, Tim, Sacred Cow Diner, good job. Let's see what we have next. Why was John the Baptist beheaded?
Okay.
He was considered a blasphemer for proclaiming Jesus. Herod was a giant simp. His death was foretold in the book of Isaiah, or he had tried to refuse to baptize Jesus.
Is Herod was a giant simp not the correct answer? Because I feel like it kind of is.
It is.
Wow, it is the correct answer. What the fuck? Oh shit. Oh no, this is bad.
It's because I paraphrased, but it's because that woman, I think Salome, did a dance for him, and he thought it was so nice that he promised her anything she wanted, up to half his kingdom.
Yeah, and then
she wanted the head of John the Baptist.
The head of John the Baptist, which is a weird thing to want. I don't know what's up with that.
She must have really had it out for that local weird preacher.
They never like extrapolate on that. They never say she's like an emissary of Satan or anything. It's just like a girl just wanted a dude's head on a platter, which is very strange. So
we got to get onto the questions, but I did need to bring up this comment. Somebody walked by and thought that Forrest Valkai in this stream looks different. It's interesting.
That's really funny. We do have brown hair and we're both white dudes. So
yeah. Hollyhock maintaining the lead. Tim coming up along with Sacred Cow Diner. Dan is nowhere to be seen on the leaderboard.
No.
You guys are really doing your job here. All right. Who was chosen to replace Judas? Matthias, Paul, Simon of Bartholomew, or nobody? There were 11 disciples after Judas died.
This is kind of a trick question because it depends on the gospel, I believe. Oh no. Zod, I'm not gonna win this. I'm behind. Oh no.
What do you think was tricky about this question, Mr. Objectively Dan, who's read the entire Bible?
Zod, if you read the Bible, okay, it doesn't specify. Well, first of all, there's like different counts of the disciples, right? So it's like kind of iffy. But they refer to the 12. They say the 12 after the death of Judas, and they list more names, but there's never like a given list of like all 12 at any concurrent time. So I believe there's a discrepancy between specifically John and the other gospels. Am I right about that?
Acts is the only place in the Bible where I'm aware that they very explicitly say we're short one disciple and we need another one to bring it up to 12, or an apostle. If you want to dig into this, next episode, you can challenge me on this if you find another thing, but I'm pretty positive it was Matthias. There is a weird thing about where they refer to a 12 and versus him and stuff, compared to the timing of him joining, but I don't think that really affects there being a clear answer to this question.
All right.
But
well,
sorry.
I'm not a real Christian, dude. I'm being called out right now. This is really sad.
Oh, Tim pulls ahead. Sacred Cow Diner in second place. Then we have Hollyhock, BS, and Nitty. Dan, you need to climb up onto this leaderboard here.
I need to step this up. We're on 6 out of 10.
We still got 4 more questions. Why did God cover Moses with his hand? To protect him in battle? Because Moses had struck the rock? So Moses would only see the backside of God? So Moses couldn't watch God write the commandments? What do you think?
All right. I hope I'm right. I really hope I'm right.
That seems like the idea.
I suck
Did you
at
get this wrong?
I did. I was the only one that got yellow.
Because God wanted to show Moses his glory. And the problem was the way it works. If you see the front side of God, you die. If you see God's backside, you get just enough glory without being killed. So
I remember this now. I was thinking about the rock thing where like they hit the rock and water comes out or whatever. Oh God. Maybe I need to read this Bible again. He's
a nervous peer. God can't let you see his front or he can't get a stream going. All right. Tim's maintaining the lead. Sacred Cow Diner coming up close.
I cannot believe I was the only one that got that wrong. It's so embarrassing.
When did Jacob and Esau begin fighting?
Okay, I know this. I was about to say it, but I'm not going to cheat.
After Jacob stole Esau's birthright as the two grew into adulthood, when the two were children, when the two were still in the womb. Sounds like Dan knows this one.
I know this one. Yes. Woo!
Yes, when the two were still in the womb.
I got it.
This was the topic of one of my remedial Bible lessons. They actually fought before they were born. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Because the Bible is literal.
I like
Tim's
that.
holding on tight. All right. I think this comes down between Tim and Sacred Cow Diner. The Pharisees and Sadducees had a major disagreement over whether Jesus was God, the order of rituals in temple worship, whether the dead would be resurrected, or the role of women in public life.
Jesus. Sadducees, Pharisees. I got it wrong. I picked yellow.
Yep, it was whether the dead would be resurrected. You had some good company on this one. Now, I guess I can't guarantee that there were no disagreements or the order of rituals in temple worship, but I do know that one of the biggest disagreements they had was over whether there would be a resurrection. Because as you might know, Dan, there was no afterlife clearly communicated in the Old Testament, even though the word of God is consistent and so is the message.
Yes.
So the way I was taught this when I was young, because I was actually taught this when I was, and somebody's actually beaten me to it. The Pharisees believed in an afterlife, so they were fair, you see. The Sadducees do not, so they were sad, you see.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was in a school environment where they actually wanted to teach you the difference between the Pharisees and Sadducees, and that's the little saying they used to get that across. Tim, holding on. Sacred Cow Diner next. I think they're running neck and neck, but who knows what can happen. Anything's up in the air other than Dan getting onto the leaderboard, I'm afraid.
Yeah, for real. I'm done for.
Who was the first disciple called by Jesus?
All right.
Was it Peter, Andrew, James, or John?
I feel like this is a trick question, Zod. I'm pretty confident, but I'm pretty sure this is a trick question.
I don't see how this could be tricky. It seems pretty straightforward.
God damn it.
It was
Andrew.
Andrew. Yep.
Fucking Andrew, dude. That guy, he's always getting in the way.
Yeah. Peter would be the first one that entered into my head, I think, but it was definitely Andrew according to the Gospels.
So wait,
or at least one of them.
What's the story there? I thought, like, wasn't it Jesus was like trying to get the fishers of men, and Peter was there? Was like Andrew there first? What's up with that? Wait, you're messing with my.
Right,
this is like a real Mandela effect you're having on me right now, Zod. Okay.
All right. We'll look this up after we have more time. Once you get your meme time in, okay?
Oh, okay. All right.
But it looks like Sacred Cow Diner has passed up Tim. We got a tight race here with one question left. Better push the button fast, but better make it right. Why did God send Adam and Eve out of the Garden of Eden? They were under the curse of sin. He was going to destroy the garden. He could not tolerate disobedience. He was afraid they would eat from the tree of life.
Easy.
Any of you who have been watching my remedial Bible lessons from way back before, you'll notice I pulled a couple of these from those. But you know,
bam.
Yes, he was afraid they would eat from the tree of life. Despite the later narrative that this was all about the curse of sin, God was just afraid that if they ate from the tree of life, they would be just like the gods. Wham, bam. So, in third place, we have BS. Good job, BS. Second, we have Tim. That must be in first place. Sacred Cow Diner. Good job, everybody.
That was tough. Look how close
Dan,
they were.
Dan, quick question. Does it tell you where you placed?
You know what? If it did, I'm embarrassed to say, but it doesn't say where I placed. It just says I got 2,606 points. So not good.
All right. Let's see if we can view the full report here.
Oh no. This is really bad on my part. Most people got most wrong, I feel like, right? That's got to be true.
Objectively, Dan fell under the need help category.
Oh no.
With 11. All right.
What I get, like 3 out of 10, right? 3.
Yep, you got 30%.
Oh.
All right, we're gonna stop shaming you.
Oh,
that's the end.
Zod, you've ruined my credibility on this program. How are people supposed to listen
this was all meant to be fun and games. I was joking with the idea of shaming you. I really didn't expect you to disappoint me that much, though.
God damn, Zod. Well, thanks for that. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
now
you're
I get
welcome.
to shame you. All right. So
exactly.
Not really. Let's just dive right into it because we need some time for this. If you could put my little slideshow up on the screen for me, Mr. Zod, that would be fantastic. So we're looking at Christian memes, parentheses, and political cartoons, I guess. Zodanza extravaganza. We're gonna look at the fine arts today, Zod. Do you have an appreciation of the arts? Are you cultured?
No, I find art disgusting.
Oh, well, fantastic. Because I think the creators of these memes also find art disgusting, because we're going to look at some awful, terrible memes, some which genuinely I think are funny, and some of which I think are really bad. And what I want for the audience to do, because we're all about audience participation here, Zod, is I would like for the audience to give their rating out of 10 for each of these memes. And then I was gonna like have a spreadsheet to like chart and stuff, but then I realized, what am I gonna do with that? There's no reason for that, so we're not doing that. But I do want to see people's reactions to our fine memes today. Let's see. So I should be able to. Oh, I can move the slide here. Let's just dive into it. I got a lot of memes for you today.
Go for it.
Now, so what we need to know about the Christian meme culture, Zod, is that they have a lot of babies in them. Have you ever noticed that? There's always babies or toddlers in a lot of these memes. Now, I could have put way more babies and toddlers in this slideshow. I could have filled the entire slideshow with baby and toddler memes, but I decided against it because I think you get the point. This is like a 3-panel thing we got going on here. It might be a little blurry for the folks at home, but it says something to the effect of, and I got my notes here, if it'll pull up in time. Please. It says, why do they say amen at the end of prayer instead of a woman? He says, no clue why. And the answer, the same reason they sing hymns instead of hers. And then both the dog and the baby look at the viewer. This is a modernist piece, I think, Zod. This says a lot about society. Of course, dogs and babies historically in Christian art have been known to communicate with each other. We see this all over scripture. There's tons of passages that allude to it that I won't give you here. So this is the art. Any ratings from here? We got a 10 out of 10 from one viewer. What do you think, Zod?
I just want to read a comment real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Boo.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what? We're here to critique. Okay, we're here to contribute to the fine arts community. So I won't hear none of this. Okay.
At least it's just a dad joke. It's a bad dad joke, even by my dad's standards, but still.
And this has a lot of
nothing
Christian memes.
Really.
It's dad jokes in some form or another. Because like real humor, and not that dad jokes aren't real humor, but like other forms of humor are forbidden in Christianity because you're not allowed to be funny. Is what I've come to learn. So here's another one. I just want you to interpret what this piece says, Zod. Baptist boys and their crazy socks. Isn't that relatable? And then, of course, we got the at Baptist memes Instagram page where I found this at.
Is there a meaning to this that I'm not picking up? Because I don't.
No, it's just Baptist boys and their crazy socks.
So do Baptist boys just generally have crazy socks?
I think that's the implication. So I wanted to bring this one to the table because I wanted you to help me out with this one, Zod. I don't know what this meme is trying to say. Now I've been a Baptist boy, Zod. I've been around some Baptist boys. I've never seen crazy socks on a Baptist boy. Have you?
I was Pentecostal. We were crazy head to toe.
Fair.
Shiver says that's such a Southern Christian thing. So maybe that's just. Maybe, I'm about as far from the South as you can get in being in the United States. So
now we could delve into the deep theological implications for Christians wearing crazy socks because we're supposed to be, separate from the world and all that. But I think this is just about Baptist boys and their crazy socks. I don't know if there's any much more to it. So let's go ahead and move on to our next piece. Here's another one I put in the dad joke category, but I genuinely think this one's funny. It says, girl, I only date guys who lift me, trying to impress her. I lift his name on high. And this one made me laugh. I like this one. This is a good meme.
Yeah.
Right here.
I legitimately like this one. That's pretty cool.
It's a pretty good one. Now, Zod, we're seeing some mostly positive, mostly dad joke vibes from here right now. It's going to get worse from here on out. I'm just letting you know right now. We may have some splotches of sunshine and happiness, but it'll definitely get worse. And I actually have a longer version of the slideshow that we're using. We're using the short version of the slides. So, if we have time, maybe at the end, if we want to do some extras, I do have some extras, but this is the short version of the slides. So, I like this meme. I give it a 10 out of 10. I give it a 9. A 9.
It's
strong 8.
It's partly it's the best of both worlds. It's like partly just a good solid dad joke, but it feels like it has that actual Christian feel to it. I don't know.
I like it. It's a solid one. This one's not a solid one, Zod.
Oh dear me.
It says 2 things every American should know how to use, neither of which are taught in schools. Now, the implication here is that the Bible isn't taught in schools, right? And also 9mm handgun usage, I think, is not taught in the public school system. Now, I don't know why you'd want to have 9mm handgun usage taught in the public school system. But this person thinks it's important. So, yeah.
You know, yeah, ick. I don't know what else to say. You know, I live in Alaska. Everybody owns guns, but I'm not the kind of weirdo that parades them. I definitely wouldn't be teaching kids how to use them in school.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. See, this is
You
this is
know,
the dark. Go ahead. Go ahead. Excuse me. Part of me.
it's a weird, it's a weird pairing, but one that obviously is very prevalent in our society. The whole guns and Christian thing. I think if you were to present this almost any other point in history, they would just find it very weird. But then also, if you're, I don't know, if you're trusting God to protect you by, using the Bible or whatever, what do you even need the gun for? You don't need to go into all the preachy stuff, but
no, I get you. See, this is the other side to Christian meme culture. So we have our dad jokes, we got the baby pictures, we got the funny pickup lines, sort of kind of humor, and then we have the political messaging that happens in some of these. So, like I said, there's some darkness that's hidden in these memes, and ones that are just kind of stupid. Here's one that says, a long time ago, a few bearded fishermen helped bring Christ to the world. 2,000 years later, a few bearded duckmen are helping bring Christ back to a nation. Hey, that's a fact, Jack. Now, this one, I love this one. This one is, you can taste the boomer energy, okay? Just pure, there's this mustiness to it. It's a sweet sort of mustiness that can be consumed in this. Do you smell that odorous sort of I still try to pick up women 20 years younger than me at my local bar sort of energy, 20, 30 years younger from this meme? Do you get that sense? Do you get that odor when you get that taste? What do you think, Zod?
There's that figurative smell.
Yeah.
This also evokes a very literal smell, at least the bottom half does.
Yeah.
I never watched Duck Dynasty, but the whole phenomenon is just weird and ick. And seeing Willie and God's Not Dead,
yeah,
I think I know all I need to know about them.
I really love that we have the savior of all mankind, right? The big cheese, God himself, comes down to earth, and his disciples, the men who were closest with him in his human lifetime. And the closest comparison that this author chooses to make with that and people of the modern day are the folks that did the Duck Dynasty reality television show. So I don't know what that says about your religion, but if it would make me do some thinking,
okay. So there's obviously Duck Dynasty plays a bigger part in the Christian psyche than it should, in that it plays any part at all. But it seems significant. But this could be as simple as the whole bearded look and the fact that they murder animals for a living.
I guess so.
It could be as simple as that.
I'm not sure. We have a lot. Yeah, we've got some other ones here.
I'm just happy to see that, like many people beyond, hasn't thought about Duck Dynasty in a decade, and I hope you may continue to do that after this stream. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're right. I mean, like there's some on surface level similarities here. I just think I love the "Hey, that's a fact, Jack" line at the end. Like, in case like the text wasn't good enough, they had to just throw in the little reference there for the folks at home. Here's another one with that boomer energy. So this is the other category that I'm showing you here is the boomer posts, right? You can just tell how old this person is just by the way they post it. Now this one is stupid.
Sorry, I got distracted.
I love this one. If there were a cell phone at the Red Sea and people were just taking selfies with the waves. It's got great, I don't know how to use my iPhone and my grandson has to set up my Wi-Fi sort of vibe to it, I hate the kids looking at their phones all the time, even though I'm on Facebook 40 hours a week. Like, it's the same sort of energy coming out from this post, right? What do you think?
Those kids should be using their cell phones to get radicalized, not to take selfies. You just know these things.
Right.
And any respectable elder of the Israelites would be holding out a giant ass iPad to take their pictures, not these little cell phones.
True, that's true. Now, here's the funny thing, Zod. If I saw the Red Sea parting, you bet your ass I'm going to be taking out my phone and recording that shit. Are you kidding me? That's fucking
Yeah.
awesome. Why would you not do that? Like, who is going to be here and be like, oh, I can't believe this guy is recording this once in a lifetime miracle over here with his cell phone? Ugh, like, what? What do you mean?
I feel like this is Christians telling on themselves just a little bit on some level, because basically you're trash talking people who actually capture evidence of miracles, because, we definitely don't want that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's up with this one. It's dumb and it's lame, and I love it for that.
Yes.
So here's one that has a little bit of a story to it, Zod. It says, "Where are you in the Bible?" And it says the part that says Satan deceived the whole world. Now, you might be a little confused by this. This is one that I found on Instagram, but it led me to a Christian blog poster who has a link to his article here, which I'm going to pull up and sort of read you a quote about this man's sort of ideas about Santa
Oh, please
Claus.
do.
The title of this article is called Children's Belief in Santa Claus Will Undermine Their Spiritual and Religious Development as They Grow Older, which is not a good title. It's not very succinct. But I think the HTML link at the top has a better title, which says Santa Claus Belief Leads to Atheism, which is awesome. So basically, this guy is saying and writes this whole piece using like classic, like, I don't know, the text is all bolded, but there's like every other word is like bolded in red, like that kind of like, again, using HTML for the first time to make your website kind of energy. Basically saying that, look, we can't lie to kids about believing in like Easter Bunny and Santa Claus, and when they grow up, call it fake, because those kids become atheists because they aren't going to see reason to believe in the things anymore. And so obviously this is a bad thing because, God's real, but this other stuff isn't real. But there is a direct causal link between teaching your kids about Santa Claus and becoming an atheist. Of course, this is completely the author's assertions and opinion with no
Oh, yeah.
outside sources. But I just think this is fucking awesome. Just hilarious. Like, they put time and effort into this post. They made this picture. And out of context, it's really funny. I might make this my phone background, for example. Because why not? That's a conversation starter. So yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, first thing that popped into my mind is something that I got beaten to in the chat, which is the Santa Satan connection, which we got from Zero Neonics and
Yeah.
AR. I've heard that one before. I was the type of Christian who we wouldn't have anything to do with Satan or Santa. No Santa pictures, no stories of Santa. I remember when I was younger, our cousins and aunt and uncle were non-believers. I think my uncle wasn't about atheist, and they said we were telling them all the reasons that you don't believe in Santa, and they said, well, that's the same thing but with God, and we didn't think that was super cute. But yeah,
it's not great. I just posted the link to the blog of where this was found in the comments if folks would like to find this this whole thing themselves. It is a long post, but it is really funny. I just thought that, yeah, somebody's like really concerned that we're telling kids about Santa because they're going to become atheists. And I also like the logic of, well, wait a minute, we don't have evidence for God in the same way we don't have evidence for Santa or the Easter Bunny. So like, we shouldn't tell them about it, which is like so on the nose. I wish this was like fake and a parody, but this is like a real Christian blog that this came out of.
Yeah, if there is any parallel, it's that their journey of learning that Santa's not real, they're going to see the connection between that and why they believe in God.
Yeah.
And I think for this author, it was as simple as they're both part of the world. If I were to guess at least overall general vibe of it. That's what I would think. But anyway,
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, YouTube might not let me post the comment in this in the chat. It might be blocking it because it's a link. I didn't think about that. But if we remember later, I will put it in the description. 'Cause
Okay,
it's weird.
sounds good.
Let's go on to our next one here. This is another one in the classic sort of Christian meme era. I love this sort of idea. I don't know what it is, but somehow again the boomers have access to Photoshop because like this isn't like your basic meme template, right? There's a little bit of editing, but it's like not enough to be good. It's like just enough to where somebody, maybe they have a print shop where they make t-shirts somewhere, like they knew how to make this, which I just don't know who this person is. But you always see these images. You know what I'm talking about, Zod? You see images like this where it's like there's enough original content to know that a human being made this, but not enough to where they know like how to download apps off the app store. Like it's like this weird in between. And it says here, people tell them bad weather is coming and they prepare. Tell them Jesus is coming and they do nothing. And then there's, of course, classic Bible verse about, tell the son of man coming at the hour you think not, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, what do you think of this one, Zod?
I agree with the person who wrote this that it's very, very tragic that people know how to intelligently assess threats that you bring to their attention.
Yeah.
Like really, that's weird. Tell them something's going to happen that they've seen happen before and know might happen. And even then they're going to fact check you. If you tell them it's going to snow dump on them tomorrow, they're going to at least look it up. They're not just going to take your word for it. If you tell them something just totally off the wall and crazy, like a religious figure is going to float down from heaven, don't act surprised if they don't see it the same way. Sorry.
Yeah. It's not great. This is not the best sort of reasoning. Like again, yeah, when bad weather is coming, generally when the weatherman says bad weather's coming, like it's gonna come. People have been saying 2,000 years now Jesus is coming back and it hasn't happened yet, so you got to place your bets wisely, right?
Yeah.
I'm not holding out anytime soon on Jesus coming back, but bad weather happening, sure, that's probably a little bit more reasonable. Okay, so let's go here. Now here's another one where it could be good or it could be bad depending on your sense of humor. It says, guess who's back again, JC's back. Say amen. Now, Zod, do you know what this is a reference to? Because I was honestly afraid that you might not even know.
The only thing that can come to my mind is...
Oh, no, he doesn't know. Oh, he doesn't know.
The only thing that comes to my mind is the Passion of the Christ 2. This time it's personal.
Zod, it's Eminem. This is Eminem lyrics. He says, guess who's back again? Shady's back. Tell a friend. Right? This is granted, this is Eminem like 20 years ago. I thought I was safe with this one, Zod. I thought you knew. Oh my God. Well, anyway, so here's what I like about this one is that one, you didn't even know the reference, and you're like the target demographic for this meme, which is hilarious. Second thing, the fact that you're using Eminem lyrics as a reference to your meme, who is like the most non-Christian artist you could like possibly get, is really funny. So like, I don't know, does this qualify as a Christian meme? Because it's using a very secular sort of reference here. So like, if you're listening to Eminem, that's not very Christianly. You know what I mean? I don't know.
This dovetails into my defense.
Yeah.
20 years ago, I was still a Christian. I grew up my whole life not literally able to listen to no non-Christian music. And even then, they would nitpick over what kind of Christian music you were listening to and whether it adequately glorified God. So I am hugely musically illiterate. And so that's my defense. That also plays into your whole little thing.
People are mad at you in the comments, and at least one YouTuber is personally threatening to unfriend you.
Yes.
Which it's Shannon. So of course, I would expect that because Shannon has taste and quite frankly, she's right to do that. So anyway, I'm very sad that you didn't get the Eminem reference here. But I can't say I'm 100% surprised either side.
Yeah, you should be 0% surprised. Literally anything I know about music, if it's not like massively mainstream stuff that you would have just picked up through TV culture or something like that. I just don't know.
Yeah. And also I like how they have the sunglasses on, because it kind of, and it says back again, so it kind of makes you think it's Terminator thing, but it's actually an Eminem thing, which again, very weird zone with this one.
Yeah.
Let's go to our next one here. Now this one we're getting into our next category. So first of all, the last category was secular world. The secular world combining with the Christian world, because like that happens in memes, and I always think that's confusing, because it's like we're supposed to not be, we're not supposed to combine the two, right? They're supposed to remain separate. But some Christians think it's okay. Some Christians think it's not. Now we're going into like your uncle that doesn't talk to the rest of the family, and isn't invited to the family barbecue every year levels of memes. This is God made this, and we see a picture of a horizon, and man made this. Do you know what this is in reference to, Zod? Can you guess?
I didn't, but I think Shivers might have nailed it.
This is a flat earth meme. Now, I think if you look at the flat earth community, it is almost exclusively made up of evangelical Christians. And it's not all of them, to be fair. Some of them have like other kinds of woo-y beliefs, but a very significant portion of them are made up of the Christian community. And that is explicitly because the Bible does make almost literal references to a flat earth. It's debatable, right? They talk about the pillars of the earth. There's corners of the earth. There's kind of these references to the earth maybe being underneath a dome, right? And so there's sort of like this cosmology that's depicted. Of course, Christians for years have debated on whether or not these are literal interpretations of the world or not. But the point is, these Christians definitely think it's true, and this meme is evidence of that. So yeah, the globe Earth, you think that's real? Pff, that's man-made, baby. That flat Earth up at the top, that's God. Okay, all God. So, questions, thoughts, concerns.
I don't know what to say. I wouldn't have put this to the flat earth thing. My mind didn't go there until it came up, but I'd say it's sad, but I think I've already been far enough down this toilet that, nothing, it doesn't really surprise me.
Yeah.
To me, there's enough of a distance between me and this particular kind of weirdness. It doesn't hit me as hard as like QAnon stuff that, is more personal and that some people close-ish to me in life might, relate to. So it is a shame though. I'm not going to say it's not a shame.
It's a whole thing. Gotta love the flurfers. Am I right? Shout outs to the flurfer community, this flat earth community, for those who aren't in the know. Okay. Moving on.
That I didn't know.
Here's a simple one. Sins are like credit cards. It doesn't say credit card. It just says credit card, which is, it's funnier if you say sins are like credit card. Enjoy now, pay later. Which is like, okay, so you can tell, by the way, I know you're probably noticing some JPEG artifacting on these pictures. That is not me adding anything artificial. This is the original source, baby. I got these memes nice and crunchy. Okay. I found these out in the wild. So again, this is one of those memes where it's like, all right, so you know how to use Photoshop, because this kind of edit takes more than like an online photo editor, right? You have to have like some knowledge of image manipulation, but not enough to make anything actually worthwhile to the test of time. So it's like, this is the result. Like, I just don't know where these people are. I don't know where they exist or how they obtain these skills. Did they go to their local community college where somebody had to show them how to make memes for their Facebook groups? I don't know. But yet they exist, and they're everywhere. They're everywhere, wherever you look. So, yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, this is just a really basic trope of Christianity, I think. Mm-hmm. What's there to be said about it? Anything I said would be, yeah, it's like,
these are like your credit card. Enjoy now, pay later. That's it. It speaks.
You could understand this in terms of an intelligent idea of your behavior and what impact it has. They just obviously want to boil it down to sin and claim that they're right about everything that, is consequential with behavior, and they have the answers.
Yeah.
I'm so blown away by the cringe that that's all I can see.
It's awesome. It's got that Nestle Crunch artifacting going on. I mean, I love it. It's super great. Really, really cool.
Can I point out one thing?
Oh yeah. Let's go back. What's up?
This looks like a really old one in general.
Yes.
Like this looks like a very old timey thing. But I noticed this card has the chip, which I find surprising. So
it does.
This is probably a lot more modern than I would have thought it would have been.
Yeah, I don't know. This looks like, again, this image could have been found in a container, in a vault in the Fallout universe. You know what I mean? Like on a hollow disk. Like I feel like that's the level of age we're talking about here, in terms of this meme. So it is quintessential. It is like, it is of its kind. It is the perfect example, I think. The epitome, if you will.
And I don't want to park too long, but David had a really good point here. I grew up in a family that saw debt as sinful. And so I think these two things do their knee-jerk reaction to any kind of debt as if you're just like...
That's true. And you know what? I also wasn't allowed to have a credit card growing up.
Yeah.
And did not get one until several years ago. So yeah, it's not great. Here,
you know, you're not just caught up in a cycle of poverty when you use your credit card. You're just choosing to not defer gratification. That's the way they see it. Sorry, yeah. I'm done.
No, I gotcha. This one is a slightly more modern meme format. This was like from a few years ago. The story goes that Ryan Reynolds showed up to a party, wearing a they thought was an ugly Christmas sweater party. It was just a normal Christmas party, and so this picture is taken and people are using it, you know, all over the place. And then of course this is the Christian version of it. So this is my other category, which is Christians taking popular meme formats and then using it to promote Christian messages, which is me trying to leave after church and my mom and literally anyone. Now, this is another one which I think falls into the genuinely funny category because, like, this is very visceral. Like, yes, this was me as a child. I deeply, deeply remember this happening. So I can really see that. 10 out of 10. I agree. This is actually a good one. I like this one. This falls in the good category for me. So
I absolutely relate. And what this tells me, I was there many, many times in church, not just my parents, and I won't go any further than that, but you're ready to go out the door and it just goes on. You walk a few more steps and then they veer towards somebody else and you're just standing there just waiting to leave. And I like this because it just shows that not all Christian stuff is either horrid and evangelistic or corny or whatever. They do have parts of their culture that they can make funny, insightful statements about. And I kind of enjoy that about this.
Yep. This is a good meme. Good meme. I like it. It's a solid one. So they're not all stinkers. Okay. Some of them are good, but a lot of them are bad. This is a funny one because I think of the implications here. Now we've got, when God wants to bless you, he puts a person in your life. When the enemy wants to destroy you, he also puts a person in your life. Wisdom is knowing who sent who. Now, this is extra ironic because this is Theo, I believe, from The Cosby Show. And as we all know, Bill Cosby, not a person that you want blessed in your life these days. But I like this one because it's like, wisdom is knowing who sent who. Is it really wisdom or is it just like people's opinions? Because I think it's just like people's opinions. It's kind of just like, oh man, the spirit's really telling me that I'm vibing with this person, or no, the spirit's telling me I got to get away from this person. And two people can have both of those takes and like not be wrong. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of this, you know?
Yeah. This to me is just chalking common sense or your gut instinct about people up to something supernatural.
Yeah.
Be careful who you hang out with is all they're saying here. If there's a downside, it's that when you take it as God or the devil sending you people and you're trying to judge it based on some stirring from the spirit, you're putting too much emphasis on your personal intuition versus good judgment. That's all I'll say. Otherwise, I'm going to start going on one of my little things. So
yeah, I gotcha. We're wrapping up here. We're getting close to the end. Again, this was the short version. I think it's weird
that it looked like he was drinking a beer too. I thought
it does. Weird. I think it's like a glass. It's like a little sody pop. You know, it's a little. What it is? It does look very small, doesn't it? What's up with that? That's weird. I didn't question that until now.
Very small bottle of urine.
They had. You caught me off guard with that one. I didn't expect that. I was gonna make some joke about how bottles were smaller in the 90s or whatever. Cosby Show was the 90s, right? No, it was the 80s.
80s, yeah.
Yeah, it's 80s. I don't know because I only watched the reruns, but yeah, 80s, I guess. Bottles were smaller in the 80s. That's the thing there. Okay, so here's another one. Again, theological. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't introduce the category. The category for this one and this next one are theological implications that are questionable within memes. There's a couple of those that are like this. This one is also in this category. It says, now, I don't know if this is a quote from this program. I don't know what show this is, to be honest with you. I don't think it's a quote. I think this is like Christians taking a scene and then like pretending that's what the words they're saying are, which to be fair is not a thing that just Christians do. Teenage girls on Tumblr will do it for Sherlock and Doctor Who. I mean, there's all kinds of people participate in this sort of memery. And it says, now, mama, you don't have to go to church to go to heaven. And she says, well, you don't have to wear a parachute to jump out of an airplane either, but it certainly helps. Now, this is supposed to be a witty comeback to those youths who don't want to go to church anymore. But you don't go to heaven then if you don't go to church. Like, that is the implication. That's a little, I don't know how I feel about that. There's a lot of people that don't have access to a church,
And this analogy kind of just falls apart when you think about it for 5 seconds. Because you don't have to go to church to go to heaven. You don't have to wear a parachute to jump out of an airplane.
Yeah.
She's trying to say you're going to get there either way, right? But it helps.
Yeah.
But then
okay, what's the goal here? Is the goal to get to the ground? Because we're getting to the ground.
If you're going to make the analogy very direct, going to heaven is hitting the ground.
Yeah.
So is going to heaven like flattening like a pancake and dying if you don't go to church, and it's good if you do go to church? Obviously, we're reading too much into this and we're making the analogy more direct than it should be. But I think in doing that, we're showing that this is vapid and really just means literally nothing.
Yeah, I think we put more thought into it just now in the past 30 seconds than the person who made this meme. But I could be wrong. That's speculation on my part. So is this the last one here? Yeah, last one here. So this one is another one I want to read from an article here, which says hormones prove women are to be keepers at home. Now, okay, this image just like made me say, what the fuck? Can you guess where I got this image from? Because this is from a source that you're aware of.
I know this would unironically catch fire on Facebook or on Twitter. I know that.
Yeah.
But where did you find it?
This is from the Transformed Wife blog, of course.
Oh, you don't say.
Of course. So this one, I have another link to a blog where I was like, what is this? So first I found this on Transformed Wife's Instagram. Transformed Wife, what she does is she posts little titles like this to get people to say, huh, what's this? So you can click on her blog. And it worked for me. I will say this, because I was like, what the fuck does this even mean? Like, I don't even understand. So basically, Transform Wife, and by the way, everything I'm saying here, this is all posted on her blog. This is public knowledge. She's telling people about this, okay? Transform Wife said that she has a condition.
Hey, Dan?
Yes.
Dan, sorry, can you give me a second? I'll step away. Can you just carry on for the audience?
Yes, I'll do that for sure.
Okay, I'll be back in just a minute.
All right. Zod is going to go scream in another room because I mentioned the Transformed Wife. But the idea is this, okay? The Transformed Wife has a condition which she needs to take some hormones as part of a therapy for, right? And I won't go into the details. She goes into it a little bit. But she's saying that the book that she read about other women who are taking this hormones because of her condition kind of reiterate her agenda, which is that women are supposed to be kept in the home because these hormones are supposed to be helpful in having a personality that basically appeals to what a woman should be, which is helpful, cheery, not as assertive, not as dominant, right? And so basically she's like, oh, this book kind of reasserts my agenda, so I'm going to post about it here on my blog and talk about how hormones prove that women's are to be keepers at home. I think this is really funny because for some reason, like, okay, if hormones like say something about your gender or prove something like about who you are, then why is it a big deal that trans people get hormones so that they can assert themselves as like the gender that they want to be? Like if you're okay, in fact, if you think that hormones do in fact contribute to the identity of being a woman, then it seems like you would be totally fine with trans women getting the hormones that they need. I just don't think it's fair that you get to have the hormones that you get to have, and you get to have it for your condition, but people who suffer from gender dysphoria, they don't get to have hormones for some reason. Like you get to gatekeep other people's hormones. It doesn't make sense to me. I shame on you, Transformed Life, for saying that trans women aren't women and that you get all the hormones for some reason because you're special. I don't know. But yeah, it's a very, very sort of off the cuff meme here, but I just wanted to end it on like a real what the fuck kind of note, because that's just what I thought. This is just what I saw on Instagram. So I don't know if you caught all of that, but I did explain to the audience. So
Cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. I just want everybody to know I wasn't up because I'm old and I had to pee. It was something other than that.
No, I explained that you had to go scream in the other room because I mentioned the Transformed Life.
Yeah.
So that's totally fine. So yeah, that's it. That's my meme corner. Again, this was the short version of the slide. I had another one that had like 30 memes on there. We got through about 20 at that one.
Well, that would have carried us through the rest of the night.
That it would have, but we are getting towards the end of our broadcast, our television show, as Zod likes to call it. So I want to give again a thanks to the folks who donated on Patreon. Like we jumped like 5 or 6 more patrons between like this show and the last show. It was kind of ridiculous. And I think it's because we mentioned like, yeah, we have put some money into it. And like, we want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for like, helping us just immediately recoup some of those costs. And yeah, like we would do this again if we didn't have the Patreon, but it certainly helps. Because we do like want to put our best effort into making the show happen. As you can tell, like we're doing something different every week. It's not like the same kind of stuff. So thank you to everybody who donates on Patreon. And if you want to support us, that's a way you can do it. And please liking and subscribing and telling other people about the show. It's going to be great too. I'm going to be continuing to edit clips, and some shorts are coming up as well. So if you can't watch the whole stream or you don't want to, you can watch some sort of shortened versions of some of the stuff that we do. And that helps us out too. So Zan and Zod is like peanut butter and chocolate. I like that.
And we got asked if we're on Twitch. We're not. If you want to know how to find us, it's going to be here every Thursday unless there's something going on. One of us might sub out or we might miss one, but as a rule, we'll be here every Wednesday at 9 Central. Do I have my time zones right?
Thursday.
Yes, 9 Central.
Thursday.
What did I say?
You said Wednesday. Today is
Sorry.
Thursday. Oh, Zod. That's okay. But we will be putting clips out on possibly Tuesdays and Saturdays is what we're thinking. Let us know what you think about that.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's it, Zod. We went through the memes. Any final thoughts?
This was a good, solid show. I would give it a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. I agree.
Yeah.
10 out of 10. I like today's show.
And there was a lot of stuff we wanted to bring up. We also wanted to mention somebody made an actual Fashion of the Christ online thing that you could do.
Oh my gosh.
Cannot find where I've been trying to look and find out where that was at. Somebody tagged
us on Twitter. So when we need to give a shout out, we totally meant to do that. So yeah, if you saw, it wasn't last week, I think it was the week before, we did a Fashion of the Christ sort of segment. Zod basically did a whole did animated graphics and everything, and somebody turned it into like a real game that you can play. It's just like a dress-up game.
You can just dress Jesus and all the different things and put backgrounds and all that stuff.
So go check that out. It's really cool. We should try to put that in the description. That's a really cool thing to do.
Let's try to remember to bring it up next time, and we can actually show it and stuff.
Yeah. We should actually play through it. Let's do that maybe next week or some other time. Yeah. That was like a cool, unexpected thing. Shout outs to the person that did that. I feel bad now because I don't have their name in front of me, but yeah, no, that was totally, I did not expect somebody to come out and make a whole game. It's so cool.
Yeah, it was they're here, I believe, and I'm spacing on the name for just a second, but we'll we'll bring it up. But yeah, thank you all for coming. Aside from the support on Patreon, which we again really appreciate, I just hugely get a kick out of Sacred Cow Diner. That's who it was. Thank you.
Oh yes, Sacred Cow Diner. And who won our game today, by the way? They deserve a prize. Oh my gosh.
Strange coincidence, Sacred Cow Diner won the game as well and is actually bragging about it on Twitter.
Right now? Oh my god, that's awesome.
Yep. So all the action is on Sacred Cow Diner's Twitter account at the moment. If you dig deep enough, I think you'll find where they posted our Fashion of the Christ thing. You can also see this big screenshot of them in first place saying they won the first Zodanza trivia contest. But I really enjoy when you guys participate. So if there's ideas you guys have of stuff, please send us emails. Please tag us. We have a bunch of Christian products somebody sent us a list of. We have the Fashion of the Christ thing from Sacred Cow Diner, who is going to be retweeting that. Mm-hmm. Twitter grown. Yes, I agree, David, but it's where the followers are and it's hard to make a quick exit. So I'm sucking up and dealing with it for now. Anyway, anything else you want to say tonight, Dan?
No, that's it. What a fantastic episode of Zodanza. Let's go ahead and wrap up the show.
All right.
Our sign off, our official sign off, the one that we always do every week. Right, Zod? What's our sign off?
Have a good night. I don't know. Is there something more than that?
We never have a sign off, Zod. Oh no. All right, let's say goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks again.
All right. Good night.
Voy a cantar esta canción con mucho cariño de mi corazón a la República Dominicana, la casa del merengue y la casa de la bachata. Voy a cantar esta canción con mucho cariño de mi corazón a la República Dominicana, la casa del merengue y la casa de la bachata. La 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 la, la casa del merengue. La 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 la, y la casa de la bachata.